At the Apple event held on March 8, 2022, called Peak Performance, Apple introduced the new Studio Display. As soon as reviewers got their hands on the webcam, it was panned and declared bad. Tom Warren from The Verge stated, Apple markets this webcam as a sensational camera, but it's sensationally presenting the Tech iHound with Don Bullock. Welcome to the Tech iHound. I'm Don. If you want the latest Apple news plus tips, tricks, and tutorials on Apple products, please subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. While I might normally think that Tom Warren is biased in his reporting on Apple because he mostly reports on Microsoft and Windows devices for The Verge, I think he's spot on. So the question comes up, what happened to the webcam and where do we go from here? As many of you recall, the webcam on the Studio Display was announced with a lot of fanfare from Apple. It was represented as an outstanding camera for video conferencing and checking in with family, especially using the center stage feature. Here's Apple's description. Sensational camera and audio system featuring the A13 Bionic chip. Studio Display delivers amazing experiences with its highly advanced camera and audio system. The ultimate video conferencing display. It includes a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera with center stage, a feature that automatically keeps users centered in the frame as they move around for even more engaging video calls. Altogether, the Studio Display has the best combination of camera and audio system ever in a desktop display. Those of us who are used to Apple's advanced cameras are left wondering what went wrong with the Studio's Display webcam. How could such a faux pas happen? Some are blaming Apple's choice of this particular wide-angle camera and the inclusion of center stage. Their theory is that while all this works on iPads, the camera on the Studio Display is typically farther away from the subject in the video. Since the camera has no optical zoom, center stage digitally crops the image to center the people in the frame. So while an iPhone is capable of taking real 12-megapixel selfie, center stage cameras capture images at 12 megapixels using the ultra-wide lens and then digitally crop them to look like a regular photo or video. This process results in less sharp images. In my opinion, none of that makes sense because in this demo of the iPad Pro, the iPad is much farther away from the subject than the Studio Display would be from a subject sitting at a desk. Now when we switch over to the same type of demonstration with the Studio Display, we're not seeing the problems that were in the webcam. So I'm wondering if Apple actually is doing real videos here from the Studio Display or if it's fake. While all that may be true, it really doesn't tell us what happened or really why the webcam is broken. I think the issue with the webcam is rooted in Apple's desire for secrecy. Groups at Apple work on projects without anyone else, especially those in other groups, knowing what they're working on. The camera group most likely knew nothing about the device it was going into in order to keep the Studio Display project from leaking outside Apple. That's how Apple works from what I've heard. Another possible reason for this problem was the fact that the Studio Display was created while everyone was working at home. Perhaps there was some miscommunication because of the isolation. The openness of Apple Park, which allows for easy collaboration, was missing. In my opinion, this should have led to a better camera. If any of the developers had prototypes at home that they used for meetings, they would have quickly noticed how bad the images produced by the webcam were. Evidently, that didn't happen. How this big mistake made it through beta testing is hard to understand, except for the possibility that the camera wasn't ready in time to be included in the prototypes that were tested. If that's what happened, it turned out to be a big blunder on Apple's part. Obviously, based on Apple's response to the issue, they were caught totally off guard. Joanna Stern, a writer for the Wall Street Journal, tweeted a link to her video review of the Studio Display. From just the title, we can see her review wasn't favorable. She said, "The webcam is bad." In another tweet, Joanna said, "After telling Apple that my webcam was not performing as well as the 14-inch MacBook Pro, a 2-megapixel LG monitor, and the iPhone 11, the company sent this statement. We discovered an issue where the system isn't behaving as expected. We'll be making improvements in a future software update." Malik, a writer and photographer, wrote a blog titled, "It's Always the Camera, Stupid." In that blog, she wrote, "Remarkably, Apple didn't have the right process to prevent what was a bad product experience from making it out its doors. It should raise questions about the software capabilities of the camera and the embedded OS that has been shipped with the displays." She went on to say, Apple, which has become a trillion-dollar company based on a straightforward concept, "It's the camera, stupid," should never forget that simple reality.
Bad. Really bad.
An article in iPhone Canada states, John Gerber has shared some new findings regarding the issue, noting that Apple's Studio Display Webcam quality issues are a last-minute software bug, which is fixable with a software update since the display runs on full version of iOS 15.4. Multiple little birdies familiar with the Studio Display, each birdie independent of the others, tell me that the image quality problems really are a software problem, not hardware, Gerber says. He continues that further software updates will not improve image quality, but will instead raise it to the level that is comparable to the iPad models equipped with the same camera. That would be an excellent news if true. But someone at Apple is having a very bad day today, if true. I can only imagine what Tim Cook thinks of this whole debacle. I think the following Tim Cook quote is appropriate here. "We have never said that we're perfect. We've said that we seek that, but we sometimes fall short." Tim Cook. That Tim Cook quote had nothing to do with this particular situation. These statements are the only things that we've heard from Apple on the subject, which is very common with Apple. They don't say a whole lot. Maybe we'll hear more in the upcoming weeks. How Apple let that first webcam out the door in the Studio Display, I don't understand. It really was bad. Now this is the webcam with the Apple fix. I've installed the latest fix on this webcam and this is what it looks like. There's still too much noise on my face especially. The background and the other colors may be better, but there's still noise on my face. And there's also way too much headroom above my head. What's unique about Apple compared to many large corporations is they value their customers. From what I've heard, Tim Cook reads hundreds of emails a day from customers to see what they're saying. Apple's commitment to making experiences better for their customers is part of the foundation of Apple. I'm sure by now that the webcam team has put on their thinking caps. Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong symbol. Ah, that's much better, and are already working on another update for this webcam. If John Gerber is correct and we can record images like this on the Studio Display, that would be great. What are your thoughts on Apple's webcam blunder? Will the poor webcam keep you from buying the Studio Display? Let me know down in the comments section below what you think. If you'd like to see a full review of the webcam on the Studio Display after Apple's fix was installed, there's a link to my review in the description below. And there's also a card someplace up here. As with all YouTube videos, if you like this one, please give it a thumbs up down below. Feel free to add comments and questions too. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Over here, come on. Hi, sweetie. Well, that's Lexi too. Hi, girls, how you doing? How you doing, huh? Are you good girls? Yeah, we're good girls. Oh, thank you for the kisses. Oh my goodness gracious.